Discuss another topic about the World Series in 2022. Right now it's only October, and I have no idea when it starts. But right now we're in the division in the American League and National League Championship, and also the World Series. We already discussed in a second topic. Two of the top teams from the American League is the New York Yankees. In the National League, we're talking about is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's think about the New York Yankees for a minute. Hang on a second. It's gonna take a minute. You know, they've been to the series 27 times and won the American League championships 40 times. 40 times. Even the last playoff, the only time they ever been to the series, won the pennant was in 2009, and we were in a 10-year. And trust me, we were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We were in a 13-year drought and winning the American League pennant, American League championship, and also the World Series. And believe me, so like in the division championships that led to the American League championship after 2009, there was 2011, 12, 19, and 2022. Take like 2011. Who were we facing back then? In postseason? Well, it's simple. It was the Detroit Tigers in 2011. They were swept up by the Tigers in the division. And right now, the Detroit Tigers went to the American League Championship. Believe me, that was a tough game for the Detroit Tigers back then. And think about the 2011 New York Yankees. Believe me, I don't think they could. I don't. Tell you the truth, I don't know if they could have beaten the Tigers back then. That was that was a tough game. And I know about the game. Sometimes not easy. Sometimes you get choked under pressure. Anything happen in baseball at times. It's like in wrestling. When he faced the WWE Championship, there's John Cena. He won the belt like 9 or 10 times. But anything can happen. There's always outside interference or somebody, or you can be hit by a steel chair or a bucket or a sledgehammer. And believe me, these guys were professionals back then, and it wasn't easy for them back then. Right now, Aaron Boone is currently managing the New York Yankees right now. And how long is he? How long you managed? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Right now, this is his 5th year in the New York Yankees. Well, it's not like any manager could change anything. They like Joe Torre when he turned that team around, and it's not easy trying to change that team. Anybody can actually manage a baseball team, but the question is, can you take them to the division or the pennant or the World Series? It takes a lot of hard work and determination to get to the World Series. And Aaron Boone right now is in his 5th year. He had a chance to take that team to the American League Championship. and it was against Houston in 2019. Houston Astros. Now those guys were tough. And right now we are in the 2022 American League. Right now there's a game in 2022 division championship. Right now it could be anybody's ball game. Right now, and right now they played against the Cleveland Guardians, ex Indians, but they like the Cleveland Guardians. Right now it looks like it's in the bag for. Right now, it's in the bag for New York Yankees. They only won one, but to get to the win the American League Championship, to win the division, you need to win 3 times. But if if the Yankees win more times, they have a chance to go to the American League Championship. But the Cleveland Guardians are the tough team. And last time they've been to the series, is in 2016. Well, those guys, these guys, and believe me, 40 American League championships. I have no idea where they easily keep their trophies anyway. Mostly it is in the stadium, but they must have put it on display. But they like the Kansas City Royals. They've been to the series 2 times. Right now, they only have 3 American League championships in their championship trophy bid, and also 2 World Series trophies out there. And that was a tough game back then. Back in the late '90s and '96, we did have Darryl Strawberry. We had Derek Jeter, and we had David Cohn, and we had Cecil Fielder back then. Even around '99 and 2000, we had Roger Clemens with us too, and he's been to the series once in '86 with the Red Sox, but this is the first time he had a chance to win the series with the Yankees. It's a good thing they got him there. Yeah, sorry about that. The New York Yankees. Now those guys were tough. Even the guys right now who broke the record. Take like the guys who broke the home run record. Back then in 1927, when Babe Ruth hit his 60th home run. It was the New York Yankees day back then, and that title has been held. That record's been there since 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. That's nearly 34, 35 years that that record's been in New York. That's been for a long time. 34 years. That Babe Ruth's 60th home run record stayed for a long time, and that's one thing that they will never give up for the New York Yankees. Speaking out this for 1 hour is not easy to think. All right, give me a breather for a minute. All right, so in the You know, a lot of celebrities had a lot of, a lot of baseball, half the players at the New York Yankees had endorsements, but they don't just give endorsements. Sports agents just don't give out endorsements. Mostly one of the best players in the New York Yankees get the endorsements. Like Babe Ruth, he was number one. So did Lou Gehrig. So did Joe DiMaggio. And believe me, I don't know how many times he's been in the series. Well, the guy won the World Series 9 times. But how many times has he been to? How many times did he actually win it? You know, they did call him the Joltin' Joe back then. I don't know if anyone's ever gonna think about doing his biopic right now. You know, they should think about doing his biopic. Well, I'll just count how many times that he's been to the series. 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42, 47, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42, 47, 49, 50, 51. You guys been in the series 10 times. And only one. Sorry about that. Little technical hazards. 10 World Series. It's had 10 World Series he's been through. That's really kind of tough to do. You know, winning the series, been to the series 10 times. Do you know how many times Babe Ruth's been to the World Series? I could tell you, but well, the guy's been in the series. The guy won 7 World Series. But how many times do you think he actually won it? Did anyone know? Don't you usually hate these pop-up ads that I'm seeing on my iPad? Hope I'm not violating some copyright music out there. Even though there was a technical difficulty, but I took it out. I just pray that doesn't count. Anyway, let's get started. There's 15, 16, 18, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 28, 32. Just like Joe DiMaggio, he's been in the series 10 times. He only batted in the World Series in 2015, but he never got the pitch. He only gave World Series 4 World Series rings, 4 World Series trophies, and also 21, 22, 23, 26. Sometimes you usually hate that, don't you? Just like one of these pop-up ads that you always hate. That always appears. Anyway, back to the New York Yankees. I usually hate when they do that to me. I usually hate being interrupted. You know, back then before they were called the Yankees. They were called the New York Highlanders back then. Before they changed it back to the New York Yankees. The Yanks were a great team back then. You know, Colonel Jacob Rupert was the first guy who turned that team around. Yeah, right now we're in. I'm trying to do it now. Right now we're doing an hour video about the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. Tell me your prediction. Do you think they could actually win they actually may have a chance to go to the series in 2022? And they're taking on the Cleveland Guardians back then. And if they have and if they do win, if they beat the Cleveland Guardians, they may have to face the Houston. I have no idea if they're going to face the Houston Astros, but they still have to pass the next team who won the next division championship. That'd be between the Seattle Mariners or versus the Houston Astros. I don't know if they're American League or National League because I barely even looked. But I'll take a look at it in a minute. I know you. I know. Yep, I was right. They're taking on the Mariners versus the Seattle against the Houston Astros. And right now right now, New York Yankees is 1-0. But they need 2 more wins. Like I said, they need 2 more wins just to win. 2 more wins to go to the American League Championship. Just like the Dodgers, they already won their first game against the San Diego Padres. And Philadelphia beaten Atlanta yesterday, 7-6. You know, the Phillies against the Braves. Now that's tough. Well, take like Houston. Well, right now, just like like you said, it's anyone's ball game. You know, the only time we had that Subway Series was against the Yankees versus Mets was in the year 2000, and that was a tough game back then. Really upset Kevin James that his favorite team, the New York Mets, lost against the Yankees. Well, I know he and Adam Sandler are buds. Even back in 2000, I know Sandler was really happy the New York Yankees win. We have a lot of Yankees fans. Besides Ralph Gianni or Adam Sandler, there are others out there. Well, like Spike Lee, you know, he's a New York Yankees fan too. He's also a Knicks fan. He has his own He has his own seat in the center court, just like he has one for the New York Yankees too. I don't know if he's a Rangers fan or even a Giants or Jets fan. At least the only one time they ever went to the NBA Finals in 1999. Everybody saw that. Just like in 1994, his team went to the World Series. Just like in 1994, he also went to the NBA Finals. That's the only time the Knicks ever got that far. I'll take a look at Alyssa Milano. She's a Los Angeles Dodgers fan. And I am praying really hard. At least she was really proud that her team got to win the World Series. So right now, 2 more games is what the New York Yankees need to win to go to the American League Championship. But who are they going to face in the American League Championship? It's either between the Mariners or Houston Astros. You know, back in the Seattle Mariners, we did have Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson. You know, Ken Griffey Jr. could have broken Mark McGwire, could have broke Roger Maris's record, or even Hank Aaron's record. But to tell you the truth, I don't think he did. To tell you the truth, I don't think it was in the cards for him. Barry Bonds was the last person anyone ever thought he could actually break not just Hank Aaron's record, but also Mark McGwire's record. But who knows? Somebody else could break Barry Bonds' record, and he's still alive. That's something they'll never take away. Besides, say like Roger Maris, even before that steroid scandal, he never went to the Hall of Fame. Well, even Barry Bonds, neither is Mark McGwire. So, like you said, it could be anyone's ball game. Like take like the greatest pitchers of all time. Besides Roger Clemens, we had David Cone. You know, he was one of the best. There was Earl Hershiser. Let's look at the greatest managers of all time in Major League Baseball. First, we have Miller Huggins. He wasn't the first manager, but he was the first one to take that team to the series in 1921. Man, that guy was really tough back then. The reason why Ruth and Huggins never even got along. You know, he's always been in his face. Huggins has always been Ruth's face. You know, there are times in my life Ruth could have left anytime he wanted. He could have asked for a trade, but he stayed. He fought really hard. He wanted to prove to Huggins that he is no bum. Then there's also Joe McCarthy, when he took over Huggins' role. Actually, I don't think he took over, but I think there were a couple of managers who replaced him back then. Well, I don't know if anyone's hearing about it. Joe McCarthy was also the guy who been to the series. Even after Ruth retired in left in 34, even though they were never going to let him manage. And he's been to the World Series about 32, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 43. That's like 8 times. Even Miller Huggins has been in the series 6 times. The guy's been in the series 6 times and won 3. How many times do you think Casey Stengel played in the World Series? There was 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 56, 58. Well, the guy's been in the series, won in the series 7 times. Well, there's also Joe Torre. 96, 98, 99, 2000. Yeah, man, that guy had a lot more World Series than than Casey Stengel or Joe McCarthy had, or Huggins. Till like 2009, man, Joe Girardi. Who was he back then? Besides, it was not easy to sign or replace Joe Torre. No one could replace Joe Torre. But Joe Girardi also turned that team around back then. Yankees do have mascots, but there is one that nobody can replace. There's Freddie Says. He was our official mascot for the New York Yankees. He used to bang a lot of pots. He always comes to the stadium every time to bang on him. He also traveled around he also traveled around a lot with the New York Yankees. He was our good luck charm that turned that team around. His real name was Freddie Schumann, but people call him Freddie Sass. He was popular for over 50 years, and a cake pan and shamrock painted on it. I think he was kind of Irish, but I never did ask about that. He was our official mascot. With that, this guy helped us turn that team around. Freddie Schumann was one of the greatest fans of all time. Even they call him Freddie Says. That anybody, a fan, there's a lot of fans out there. Some of them probably been there for 10, 20 years. Some of them maybe been all the games. Some of them been in a couple of them. Some probably been there. Some of them probably watched the game on TV. Even take like the New York Yankees. Some of the top celebrities even practically threw out the first pitch. I'm going to give you some trivia question. When did George Steinbrenner took over the New York Yankees? Simple. The answer is 1973. He took over in 1973, and plus he was famous for the Seinfeld. He was also a national celebrity, not because of the New York Yankees, but also been to the. But also he was on the he was also a recurring character in Seinfeld. Mostly I don't think he could afford to be in the series, but mostly I don't think he had a lot of time to be in the series. So he asked Larry David to do the voiceover of him. Mostly he has a back of his head and so you don't actually see his face, but mostly Larry David does the voiceover in that series. Take like Colonel Jacob Rupert, how he turned that team around, and he bought the team in 1915, but he took a big, he took a big risk, paying $125,000 for Babe Ruth for the Boston Red Sox. That time that's $125,000 in 1920, back in 1919. It was a lot of money back then. Mostly in 2022, right now it's practically chump change. But 1919, that's a lot of money back then. Man, you probably look like a king with 10 or 20 or $50,000 in that time. George Steinbrenner was one of the best New York Yankees owners ever. Mostly he made his fortune in shipping. Just like Jacob Rupert, he made his fortune in beer. Well, a lot of times I never knew how many times he collected the World Series. But I think he had to be around 76, 77, 78, 81, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, and 2001. But it's kind of hard to keep count. Even I barely even know how many times he actually won. Tell me, who was the greatest announcer for the New York Yankees back in 1948 to 1964? If there was a trivia question, if anyone of you guys had to write it down, I always had to say it's Mel Allen. Mel Allen was the guy who was the voice of the Yankees back then. I never knew who was the voice. I never knew who was also the past sportscaster in 1920s through 1930s, even when Ruth was taken over. But there were great sportscasters or great baseball or sports commentators. That. Well, when the Monument Park is the New York Yankees Hall of Fame. Some of the other players couldn't get into the Hall of Fame. Well, take a look at the guys who've never been to the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. There's Thurman Munson, there's Elson Howard, Roger Mills, Roger Maris, Billy Martin, Ellie Reynolds, Don McMagley, Bob Shepard, Ron Gertie, Tina Martinez, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Willie Randolph, Mel Sotomayor, Jorge Posenian, and Petit. And it will take like Andy Petit. He's been to the series 5 times. Well, I think maybe 5 or 6 times. I barely lost count on that one. Let's talk about another team who might have another chance to get to the series in 2022, or what the odds are. The Los Angeles Dodgers. Before they moved to LA in 1958, they were in Brooklyn, New York back then. Brooklyn used to rule the Dodgers back then, but back then they used to be called the Bums. But there were good players out there. Mostly they were called Bums because half of them had barely been to the series. But they were good players. But that turned around when they brought in Jackie Robinson in 1947. There was also Pee Wee Reese, who also been to the series too. Well, New York Yankees were their rivals, but I don't think they ever. Well, besides, you ever heard of Branch Rickey? He's the guy who took a chance on Jackie Robinson. Without him, there would have been no Jackie Robinson. And really, let me ask you a question. Who is the best radio announcer before there was Vince Scully? There was Red Barber. In 1939, he was the greatest announcer of all time. Well, there were other announcers way before him, before he died, before he took the booth in 1939. But he was there when Jackie Robinson, he was there when Jackie Robinson got to play in the series. When he started out. When was the last time he brought? When was the last day when he broadcast? It was in 1953 when that was his last day, before he moved to the New York Yankees. And believe me, he got to see more World Series there, just like he did with the Brooklyn Dodgers. At least Red Barber got to see it, not just Jackie Robinson's first African American playing in the major leagues, but also got to see the World Series. Also got to see him win World Series back then in 1955 against the New York Yankees. Believe me, it was a tough game back then. They were against guys like Joe DiMaggio back then. Take like Lou Gehrig. Even he and Babe Ruth had that home run rivalry back then in 1927. Ruth hit number 60, but Lou Gehrig only got 45, 47. Besides, what are the odds of the Dodgers to have a chance to get back to the series? I would never ask why Vince Scully never retired, but at least he got to see his team. At least he got to see. At least he got to see a lot. His last game was in 2016, but he's seen a lot of World Series. But in 2022, the odds of them going back to the series is 1,000,000 to 1. Vince Scully knew it was his time to retire back then. To hang up, to hang it up, to hang up, to leave the booth. There were a lot of celebrities who are New York Yankees fan. Besides Magic Johnson, he was a co-owner of the team. There was also Tiger Woods, Alyssa Milano, and Shia LaBeouf, Lana Del Rey, Mila Kunis, and Ashton Kutcher. Now the Kutcher wasn't exactly a Dodgers fan, but he was there.
Bobby, can you come down for a few minutes?
Actually, I'm kind of busy. Something. I'll be down in a few minutes. Well, right now I'm kind of busy. I told them I'll be down. But everyone, at least let me do is finish my video. I owe it to them. Now there were a lot of there were a lot of great players for the New York Los Angeles Dodgers back then. There was Mike Piazza, but he never took that team to the series. Only time his team went to the series when he was with the New York Mets. And then there was also Sandy Koufax. And there was Don Drysdale. And there's also Tommy Lasorda. He was a great manager back then. I've seen a lot of managers come and go back then, but none of them could do what Tommy Lasorda could done. I wonder if anyone ever would show us best condolence of him. Well, take like the 2022 division championship. Dodgers are taking on the San Diego Padres. They already won one game against them. They need two more. They need two more wins to get to the the National League Championship. That's that's the big odds back then. Truth is, how tough is how tough. What are the odds of the Los Angeles Dodgers even getting to getting to win the division or the National League Championship or the World Series? It's like the New York Yankees. What are the odds of them even winning the division or the American League Championship or the World Series? And maybe Cleveland Guardians may surprise them on maybe they could do it. But like he said, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. It's anyone's ball game right now. Maybe I can give you guys a trivia about Tommy Lasorda. How many times this guy has been to the series? Well, at least we know he had some baseball experience before they let him manage a baseball team. All right, we're in 19. All right, we're in. Well, he started in the mansion season in 1976. How long did he manage? From 1976, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. 21 years. I can't believe this guy managed 21 years. And this guy's been in the series 5 times. First time he's been in the series is in 1977. And believe me, it wasn't easy for a guy like him to take over. I never pictured I know a lot of managers usually come and go back then. Name how many of them ever got the chance to. Name how many times they ever been to the series, or even know what it's like. Tommy Lasorda knew what that was like. There were other guys out there trying to turn that team around, but Tommy Lasorda kind of changed that once. Man, it's really kind of hot here, even in the middle of October. Somebody really should think about putting the air conditioning on in my house. But I'm not going to give you my address because my area is top secret. Well, now the current manager is the current manager. He took his team. He's the one who turned the Dodgers team around back then in 2020. They've been to the he's been to the series a few times. Some more trends out there, but I'm gonna right now it could be anything. I want to give myself a breather for a minute. Well, when Dave Roberts took over in 2016 for the Dodgers,
Hello.
hi.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're performing in Puja. It's kind of like a church thing. It's kind of it's kind of weird about that. Mostly for me, we have different religions. We have a priest in Christianity church, or Baptist, or or Catholic. Even my family right now is performing Hinduism. But I'm not here to discuss that because it's not part of my topic. But Dave Roberts is right now the greatest baseball team of all time. It might have a chance. So I don't know. What are the odds of him taking over? What are the odds of him getting this team back to the series? And right now they were beating the Padres, and right now they were beating the Padres yesterday's game on October 11th. Actually, it was October 9th or 11th, but I never kept count. Like I said, games are always out here to play. We're all playing. Besides, one thing about you ever think about like the Super Bowl, like against Tampa? Yes, last year's Super Bowl, Tom Brady turned his turn when he played for Tampa Bay. Turned that team around just like he played for the New England Patriots. Even Drew Bledsoe, even been to the Super Bowl a couple of times. He was a backup for Tom Brady back then, before he retired. Even Steve Young was also a backup for Joe Montana. I don't know if he ever got to play when Joe Montana was in the Super Bowl, but at least he was there. At least he got a chance. At least he was there to fill in for him, maybe for a couple of minutes. Take like Kurt Warner. The guy came out in 1999, turned the St. Louis Rams around. He was a million one. He was a million one, but he did turn that team around. I'm kind of tired right now. Like I said, I'm giving myself a break. Well, right now it's anyone's ball game. Even the Philadelphia Phillies are still. Well, tomorrow, if they have a chance to beat Atlanta in 2 more games, they'll have a chance to go to the series. But if somehow it could be Atlanta may go to the pennant, not the Philadelphia Phillies. Will Smith is a Philadelphia Phillies fan. He's also the 76ers and also an Eagles fan. I don't know if I don't think Will Smith ever talked about football before, but if he was an Eagles fan, he would have loved. If he was an Eagles fan, I think he would love to go there. I think he would have been. I think he would love to have been in the Super Bowl, but I think he would love to go to the Super Bowl. I bet he'd love to watch the game in the Super Bowl. Even COVID, we had a lot of cutouts to make him think we're going there. Even in COVID right now was kind of tough. Magic Johnson owns part of the New York Los Angeles Dodgers. So does the other teams out there. Take like the Lakers. He used to own by Dr. Jerry Buss. He passed away a long time ago. I could barely talk about it. I barely know when he did. But it's kind of hard to get on without him. Lakers dynasty was back in the 80s when Magic Johnson played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got a chance to play in the series. Well, there was Shaq and Kobe back then in late 90s. Even those guys never got along, but in the beginning, but they were a great team. I think Vince Scully kind of retired in 2016. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say goodbye to the game for a while. But I think when you have to hang up the let go, just like in Major League Baseball. You'll know when you have when it's the right time for you to retire. Man, my sweating. It's kind of hard. Is there anything? Let's see here. What's it like the Cleveland Guardians? Do you think they might have a chance to go to the may have a chance to beat the Yankees, even though the Yankees are 1-0? But you never know. Maybe they'll take the team. Maybe they'll beat them. Man, I'm kind of tired right now. But like I said, my goal is to reach. Right now, we're trying to reach a 1 hour. Here's one part of piece of trivia. Did pre-race got to play in the got to play into L.A. Well, we know he played in Brooklyn, but do you think he ever had a chance to play in Brooklyn, in L.A.? And the answer is yes, he did once. It was 1958. It was his last season. After the team moved to moved to LA. At least he had to do is finish out the season to play in Hollywood for one day. Before Ebbetsville was torn down. Back then there was the New York Yankees, the Giants, and Brooklyn Dodgers. But Giants moved from New York to San Francisco, and just like the Dodgers, they had to move from Brooklyn to New York to Los Angeles. But they had a new team. Is the New York Mets, and I'm not talking about the one from the museum. Is the actual baseball team in Shea Stadium or Citi Field? I don't know what you usually call it now. Right now, it could be anyone's ball game with the New York Met. Right now, it's anyone's ball game with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers is a tough team back then, but they can't actually. I don't know if they can actually beat the Padres. It's anyone's ball game. Even Ray Kroc used to partly owned the San Diego Padres. At least he got to see his team go to the series back then. Just like when Ted Turner owned the Braves back then. At least he got to see his team go to the series too in '95. But the odds are But what are the odds of them winning a? But what are the odds? The Atlanta Braves may have a chance to go back to the series, may have a chance to win the division and go back to the National League Championship. I think that may be a good odds, great odds, if they can actually beat the Philadelphia Phillies. But like you said, it's anyone's ball game. No one knows how the game is going to end, or how they play. All right, that's it for today. This is Bobby Cinema. Goodbye. Good luck.